we recording? Okay. And a 1, and a 2, and a... We are the Mrs. and a Mike. 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 Oh, that was a good one. I know, girl. I got into that one.
Hi, guys. Welcome to the Mrs. and a Mike podcast. This is CJ.
It's Al.
And Bree. Hi. Okay, so today we have a really special episode. We have some super special guests that we have been really wanting to get on here for a long time. It seems like it's taken forever since we were guests on their show. But today we have the FlyWitBats Podcast.
Yeah.
Y'all want to intro yourselves, fellas?
Yeah, okay, what's going on? It's that actor guy, Martin Bats Bradford. You can find me at Mr. Bats on all your social medias.
Posse Wine, it's your boy Alpha Joe, fresh out of the gumbo, still deep in the room. And if you're out in the streets and you're looking for me, don't stay your ass inside.
COVID.
He said he is still quarantined, okay?
I need phase 5. That's what I'm waiting for, phase 5.
Me and you both.
I mean, speaking of quarantine, how are y'all making out? It's been a minute now, what? Like 2.5 months?
I know it's just been months. You know what I'm saying? I ain't seen a barbershop in a minute. I haven't seen certain people in a minute. It's this new reality. that's what we got to call it. It's a new reality because even when things start opening up, we're not too sure what that's about to look like.
Not only that, I don't want to be one of the first people to test out opening up. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, I'm not the guinea pig. I need y'all to go check outside first.
You're supposed to get the first iPhone.
Sacrificial lamb.
Right. Not doing that.
But I will say this. I have been taking advantage of these low ticket prices on the flights, and no one's on the flights. I be on there with 3 other people, and we be like, oh, man, talking about 6 feet apart. This is great.
We 60 feet apart.
I'm going to Denver. I'm going to Missouri. Who knows where I goes next?
Now, which one of these people is it? See? Told y'all trying to hide from them. Didn't I say y'all trying to hide from them? And it doesn't work. Bo, can you go back
Well, I saw the door open. I said, uh-oh.
Go back, Daddy. Bo, no. Excuse me. Come on, Bo. Oh, Jesus.
No,
See what happens when you leave it in?
How y'all doing with quarantine?
Speaking of kids, I feel bad for my kids because they're still young, so they don't really understand why they have to stay inside. And for me as a kid, summertime was the best time of the year. And so a lot of stuff that we would want them to do during the summer camp included, they can't do right now.
You got to tell me outside is broken.
Yeah.
It is broken.
Outside is broken.
It is. But it's hard for them. And then in turn, it's hard for us because now we're all inside losing our minds. So
will you let your kid go back as soon as school open up?
I think that as long as I'm comfortable with the safety measures, then yes. Because I'm also in a place where I understand at some point in time, life has to go back to normal. And we have to be comfortable easing into that. So hopefully by the time school opens up, I'll be comfortable enough to say, go, get out the house.
And I haven't decided yet.
Even if it opens up in the fall, because they might do this virtual thing in the fall, because the possibility they saying is the vaccine might come in the spring. So I wouldn't be surprised if that becomes more definite. And if that does become more definite, school might wait to have actual school in the spring and still do this virtual stuff up until.
I'm gonna keep it honest. Unemployment is lasting until January, so I'm gonna ride that out until I can. If school can open up in January, then I'll go back then.
I mean, do you? It's what it's there for.
It's what it's there for.
$800 a week. Come on now.
Do
Just
it.
so I can fix my life.
Hey.
Well, I can fix my life with $800 a week. I can do that.
There you go. And you're being safe because you're not exposing yourself to the germs by being out working. See? Look at that. Look at God.
Look at God.
GAWD.
That's right. Not GOD. Okay, what did I miss?
Nothing.
I was just talking about the kids and being stuck inside and how my husband and I just feel really bad for them because summer is the most fun time of the year as a child, and they're missing out on a lot of summer activities. We have to.
I was about to say we were just reminiscing on that healthy bar that you left us with.
Oh my goodness.
That's the truth. It's the truth, though. When you leave it in, you get little people that always, they can't let you be great. They always got to come and mess up your zhuzh.
Oh, wow, not mess it up.
Listen, I love being a mom. I do, but sometimes it's like, I cannot just,
You want your zhuzh.
I want my zhuzh. Yeah, and they're like, nope. I'm surprised it's the little one and not the big one. The big one usually thinks he's my man and he got to come and check and see what I'm doing.
It is my zhuzh. Look at
He did come in with that bottle that was like, this is empty. Like, I need you to fix that. He did come in there with that kind of attitude.
But that's them. That's boys, I think. I mean, I don't know if CJ, if you can attest to this, but doesn't your son kind of sometimes act like he thinks he's like your protector instead of the other way around? Or like he got to be in your business a little bit more, like not in like a just curious way, but like a let me see what you got going on kind of thing. Like,
yeah,
it's a boy thing.
No, because I see little girls.
You're her dad, though. You're a girl and a boy. That's a mom and a son. Those are two different connections.
So that's why I think it's a both thing. I think it's both things. Like
with mothers and sons and fathers and daughters. I think because we listen to mothers talk about how their sons are with them, and you're a father with a girl. So if she's like that anyway with you, it's like still the same thing.
I see little girls like that with their mothers too, though, like that.
Ain't no absolute, Tommy.
I just think that children are protective, like in general. I like think children are possessive in general. Once you let a child know something is theirs, then everything is theirs.
But you have
but then I like that with my husband.
You know what I'm saying? You never notice the difference between mothers and sons and fathers and daughters. That's almost scientific.
I don't know. I guess I don't know. I seen children just be like possessive on both realms. Like whoever's if both parents are there, maybe they go to the mother, but like whoever the parent is that day, that's like just be possessive about it. Like because I see kids be like, "This is my dad. Don't talk to my dad. This is my shit." Like my dad, like see other kids or something like let's say the dad does something cool. Now the kid wants that dad to do it to them only them now. He wants them to do it with other kids.
That doesn't negate what they're saying.
I ain't saying negate. I'm just saying like all around children. I think
I'm saying children are possessive. I'm agreeing. Children are possessive of their parents, but there still is a certain connection that happens with mothers and sons and fathers and daughters that's just different. Than when it would then, because and the thing is that connection that's different don't have to be a better or worse thing because fathers and sons have a connection and mothers and daughters have a certain connection too. It's just the way that those are expressed aren't the same all the time.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah,
I can think that.
I think you're totally right, Martin. But I think the only person who really can tell us is CJ because she's the only one of us that has both.
I mean, I think that's real because I have a different relationship with my daughter than I do with my son, but she is crazy behind her
about
dad.
Your husband. Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
It's father-daughter, it's mother-son. It's,
like science or something.
Yeah, my 8-month-old is crazy behind her dad already, so.
And the weird part is I had postpartum depression with my youngest. So my husband had to step in early on and really take care of a lot of like the day-to-day stuff that usually forms that super bond between like mother and baby. And so I was like, oh, well then, I won't feel a way if he's more bonded to my husband than to me. He's not. He's
He still would rather be all up in my face. My husband could be right there, and he's like, "What's up, homie?" So, ma, like,
It's funny.
Oh man, yeah.
Still all love though.
You know that old saying like
all love.
You know that old saying of like it's like almost like two women can't live in the same house, or when a man starts to smell himself, he has to get out. I think that like is there some rooted at a young age where like like
that's adolescent, my nigga.
Is that adolescent?
That's when I'm telling you. Teenage years is when the mothers and the daughters and the fathers and the sons start butting their heads like a mofo. I had watched it with my little sister just recently. I got kid sister. She just made 18 now, but for like the past few years, she's been a monster. But when she was little, it was like all up on each other.
Yeah.
Just, when it's time to grow up, it's time to buckle down on them little fuckers.
When did y'all realize, like, to y'all parents, like, that y'all were like, or when they told to y'all, or you think you're a woman now? Or, you know what I'm saying? When was that age for y'all?
13. I mean, I can admit I was the at fault person in that whole scenario. Like I was bucking, because I was my hormones were going crazy. I saw myself turning into what I thought a woman looked like. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, well then I'm grown. Not realizing like, bitch, you are still 13. Like sit down. So, I mean, it's a normal, any parent, any psychologist, they'll all tell you like, that's a normal progression in life, and it happens usually during teenage years. But I know I gave my mama the blues, and she was a single mom, so she didn't have another parent to be like, take her before I kill her, like it just we had to suffer through. Now she's like my best friend, but I'm an adult now, so we can have an adult relationship. But at the time I wanted to be an adult, not realizing that I wasn't done being raised.
Real.
I was around for you, CJ, so I know you too. I wasn't around for you, Elle.
What?
I didn't really go with me and my mom might have had like 2 fights. 2. Like we just never really butt heads, and I was just, I don't know why, but I never really went through that.
Good.
Is it amnesia, or can y'all just lie with a straight face? Which is it? I'm telling you, I never thought I was grown until I was in college. Okay. But I will say, like, my friends used to be like, y'all don't fight at all. Like, at all. Like, they didn't believe me. They were just like, come on. Because when my friends would fight with their moms, I'm like, whoa, like, chill out, And they're like, you don't fight with your mom. No, I really don't. I didn't. I can't throw shade for real because I didn't know you then. But this one over here, I knew her. Okay, don't even try it. I was a witness with my own eyes. Okay.
She ain't saying that though. She ain't saying that one word.
She over there talking about I was an angel. I'm not calling you the devil, but Lucifer was the angel too. Okay. Nah. Think about that. Anywho, should we get into what we actually supposed to be talking about? Yes.
CJ hilarious, yo.
CJ, you want to start with the first topic?
Yes. All right. So, you know that on this podcast, we talk a lot about relationships, more specifically marriage, just talking about our perspective. But I know you guys are not married. So do you mind sharing your current status? Single, dating?
Engaged.
I got a tattoo of a girl name on my back, so I guess I'm engaged.
Ooh.
It's complicated.
Oh man. Wait, I have a to go back to Joe for 1 second. So have you actually asked her to marry you?
No, not yet, because there's some certain things I want to put in order in my own life first before I want to pop that question on her. It's like I've known her since college years, and now we're at the phase where like I'm actually spending more time with her and her daughter and accepting them in my life as my family, and then accepting their whole family as my family. But this has been a dream of mine come true, so I was just like, listen, before I can get the ring, here go the tat. Boom, you dig?
So you felt like the tattoo was almost like a placeholder, like, hey, just so you're clear on how serious I am about you, let me show you, but the ring is coming kind of thing. Oh, okay. Yeah. You know, my husband told me he would never get my name tattooed on him.
I feel him.
I feel him too. I never thought I'd do this, but at the same time, I did it because, like, you know, I feel like this is the one who would be worth it if I was to do it. And then, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I have a scapegoat. Can't cover it up.
One thing I would be open to is matching tattoos, like a symbol. You know what I'm saying? If we both like agreed upon something that we feel like represents us or whatever. It could be names. It could be whatever the fuck I'm saying. And you get half, I get half. You know, I'll be open to that because then something did go down. Well, it's still a cool tattoo I got, or it might still be a memory, but it's not necessarily. I feel branded if I put someone's name on me. So like I'm good with a symbol. You know what I'm saying? I could, my mind couldn't wrap itself around that.
So in that same vein, because you said you would feel like branded, would you feel branded if like you got her, but she got you, like y'all's faces on each other or names?
I'm not good with names or faces of other people just because of the delicacy in relationships. And you could have a marriage that's great for 20 years. And then I don't know what could happen. You could be completely different people 20 years from now, and something that's completely unforeseen goes down, and you got their face on you. So it's like I'm just not with faces and names. Like, again, a symbol I can justify in different ways. A name is very specific unless her name was New Orleans, or unless her name was, you know what I mean, the same name as my grandma or my mama or my daughter. Her name is Martin too. You know what I'm saying? Unless her name is something I can feel like even if we part, it's still a part of me in a manner that I can justify and still be cool with. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I'm good with a symbol, if anything.
I have one more question. And obviously, I mean, you're an adult, you're a grown-ass man. You can choose to do or not whatever you want. But for me, I don't have my husband's name on me. But if I were to get his name or his face and we had a great marriage for X number of years and then some shit went down, I would still look at it as symbolic of the great 20 years or whatever that was. Like, I wouldn't necessarily look back on it and only remember the bad shit that went down. Like, even the tattoo wouldn't be like a negative thing for me because it would just be like, look, it's my ex-husband. We had a nasty divorce, but we had a great marriage for 20 years.
And I can understand that. I can understand that purview from a marriage. Me being someone that's not married, I wouldn't get my girlfriend name on me. I wouldn't get, you know what I mean? I wouldn't even get my wife name on me after a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, what you said in particular, when you said after so many years, like that person is your family. So you're right. That you know what I mean? So even after 20 years, if you got your family on you in that manner, that's the father of your kids, y'all done had ups and downs. That makes more sense to me than initial. You know what I mean? When we put the rings on, you ain't getting the face, baby. You have to earn that. You feel me? I gotta feel like we've been family for real, because again, my mind still goes to the cynical side of anything could happen, baby. And I need some time. We need to be vetting each other for a bit.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, though, like my mind goes like that, I also like to jump into like into the void of like, fuck it, let's try it out. Let's go for all the gusto. And I don't know.
So I kind of remember feeling like that about you last time we talked, Joseph, was that you love hard. Like you're all in. Which, so that makes sense that you would totally be like, yes, like I'm all in and I'll get your name tattooed on me. Like it makes sense. But for Martin, when you're like, you know, we can get the rings, but you got to earn that face. I guess for me, the rings were as permanent as the face would have been from jump. Like when I was in that white dress on that altar saying I do, like I meant it for life. And not saying that like other people don't. Well, some people don't.
I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. But I can't ignore that feeling. You know what I mean?
Right.
What you're saying is not wrong whatsoever. But a lot of people feel that way, then 10 years later be single. And that's not me going against marriage, because I've also seen a lot of amazing marriages. I'm not a person that's against marriage. But I'm just saying that for myself, like I would have to be personally experiencing that, you know?
Okay.
So let's rewind for a minute. Like,
I think that's
before
valid.
we get to marriage and you guys are just dating, what does that look like right now in 2020? Joe, I know you said y'all are spending a lot of family time together and hanging out, but before that, what did that look like?
It's so funny, man. Like, the more like you shine in your own life, the more people just come and holler at you and gravitate towards you. So like, the more I just like start focusing on me, the more like when I was single, the more women would just come and talk to me in different kind of facets, say certain things, and I'll be a little bit more flirtatious than they were. And it would just be on things that I post that make me happy in the social realm. In the regular realm, I still do my same old approach. I'm still old school with it. If I meet someone, I tell them, how to do it. But as far as like the new dating game, this social media has been taking a storm where women have been sliding in my DMs. I don't really slide in DMs. Women have been talking to me and saying, "Hey, what's up, cutie? How you doing? Nice, thick." They call me thickness, thick body. I was like, okay. How you doing, girl? How you doing?
All that. I'm just saying, like, like I was just like I said, my relationship right now is in a funny place. Like, we're technically broken up, but not, one of those weird situations where it's like we kind of together. You know what I'm saying? Next week I might be still together. Week after that we might not be. We'll see. You feel me? But generally speaking, before I got in this relationship, I'm talking to multiple people. I don't know, like, people slide in my DMs, I slide in their DMs. You know what I mean? People holler at me, I holler at them. That's one thing why I will say, like, versus college years. College years, it was very much more so you got to go holler. You got to go talk to that girl. You got to go talk to that woman. Women will holler at you now. You like he said, you will go on your DM and see somebody shooting a shot or what have you. Or y'all be even more subtle. You might be, like I said, since we live in both worlds, the virtual and the real, you can tell when somebody's up under your status is way more than normal. Even if she ain't saying, let me holler, y'all, you know how y'all run y'all half the time if y'all not trying to be obvious, but y'all say, hey, nigga, I'm giving more energy than I would give more. Oh, I did it. Dang. Hey, dude. Hey, dude. you know what I mean? I'm giving you more energy than I would give most people. Pay attention, you know what I'm saying? But also, I'm of the, and I can't speak for every man. I know myself. I'm of the honest persuasion. If I'm talking to multiple people, I'm telling you straight up. I'm talking to people. I don't get in a situation. Have you believing that you're the one and only, or have you believed? No, I'm gonna let you know. And if I have, because I feel also like most people can tell within the first time you kick it, if this is the type of person that I can see a serious future with, or I just want to play with. And people be in denial of that shit. And a lot of people trying to act like, oh, let me no, nigga, I know person. Know my dude. Know my dude. You feel me? Okay. You can tell if you like that girl, or if she is the type of person that you can see yourself with. It's a vibe. It's a feel. And, a lot of times, what I mean, since I often say the way that we teach men and women to date is so skewed, most of us think we got to front. Most of us think we got to lie. And one of the most validating things I had was somewhere in the colleges. I can't say I was like this, you know what I mean? At one point I was playing the game too. But at one point I just said, F it. And this was being, hey, this is how I feel, this is what I like, this is what I'm on. And the girl was like, me too. I was like, oh, yeah? And I was like, and that just became a thing. And then, and that's why I stayed by that. But that's not the game for everyone. That's unfortunate.
I wonder. Oh, go ahead, TJ.
I'm saying it is unfortunate because that's the approach that worked best for me. Like, I just need you to be straightforward, be honest. What are your intentions? Here are my intentions. Put it on the table. Either we're on the same page or we're not. But whole, trying to be somebody you're not, and I didn't have time for that.
I would have appreciated when I was dating like earlier on if dudes would have been a lot more honest about their intentions.
Yep, I agree. 100%.
Intentions. What are those? I don't know. Growing up in this game, I wouldn't say I wouldn't clear my intentions. But I also just didn't know who I was. So a lot of things that I didn't have answers for wasn't because I had bad intentions, but I was just like, listen, I don't know why. I didn't at the time. I didn't know why I'm talking to her and trying to lie to you about it. But I'm telling her the truth that I talk to you and I don't. I'm putting all these things together. Overall, it's like an individual self I had to realize. But Like,
you get taught the game. I mean, all of us get taught wrong shit. I stand by it all the time. And as a boy growing into a man, our older heads, especially we growing up in the 90s, they tell you this is how you're supposed to talk to women. This is how you get girls. Your manhood is validated by sex and how many girls you could get and how many people you could talk to and how many things you could flip.
I was taught that a woman don't want to hear the truth. She want to hear what she want to hear.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Bullshit. I was taught that. Because the thing is, once you tell the truth, whatever you got going on is all fucked up. And the thing is, the honesty as a human being is that you want to have to give people the option to make a choice. But the thing is, you get so selfish, and the thing is that you're feeling that they're going to make the choice that you don't want them to make. You don't want to tell them. And that's where that logic comes from, which I don't agree with nothing like that. But that's what I was raised on. Like, listen, lie. And if you get caught, you better lie again. Because if you tell the truth, there's going to be some shit you're going to have to deal with that you don't want to deal with, bro. So you might as well let that shit go.
I can tell you, for me, I would have really appreciated knowing I wasn't the only girl you were talking to, knowing that you just hollered at me because you just wanted to smash, you thought I was sexy, you didn't really necessarily want me to marry you later on or something like that. Because I may have come in and thinking, oh, he's a potential life partner, and he came in and thinking, oh, she's a good time. I might have just wanted to have a good time too, but I cut the other dudes off thinking you were somebody special when you didn't think I was somebody special.
And that's what you about to say, Sam?
But how do you say that, though? How do you say, I just want to smash?
You don't say it like that.
How do you say it?
I'm telling you, tell the chicks like somewhere in the beginning of the conversation, when you're talking or whatever, bro. Like, y'all gonna talk about different things. You know what I mean? And one of you gonna bring up something about relationships. I know at some point I'll be like, I'm not in relationships. I'm into like, I just want to kick it. Like you don't have to say, bro, I just want to fuck you. No, but you know what to say. There's some chicks, some women, dog. They'll throw it out there, and you be like, yeah, that's all I want to. Or you could be like, that's all I want. Like, there's so many context and situations, but you got to lead with knowing I got to keep it 100. If you lead in your mind knowing I got to keep it 100, you're gonna look for ways to keep it 100.
Well, this is the problem I have with that, though. With that, you set the boundaries. You meet the person, and you tell her, yeah, this is the third. But then she starts to like the guy that you are. Mm. And now the boundaries don't really matter anymore because she still digs you more than the other people she's now dating because she's digging you. And now all the boundaries that you set don't matter how close, like no matter, it doesn't matter no more. Now it's some other shit now.
That's both people left fault.
I was just about to say that because if you made it clear from the beginning that like you didn't want this to turn into something serious, she can't be mad at you for sticking to what you said from the beginning. If her feelings change, that's on her. That's not on you. If y'all mutually agree, I really like you more than all other people, let's just, be monogamous or whatever.
Paper, but in reality, for some cases, especially in my case I had to deal with, it's like, man, like I'm a fucked up kind of guy.
No, but what I was about to say is, what she said, it's on her, it's on the woman because she switched up the contract. You know what I mean? Let's say if it was like a contract that we signed or whatever. She switched the contract, right? That's on her, right? It's on you if you keep going. If you keep fucking with her, seeing that she's violating the contract, then that's on you. Anything that goes after that, because you still fucking with her, knowing she want more. You got to end the contract. She violated the terms, y'all. You got to end the contract.
Why you got to end the contract?
Put it to you this way. Either you end it then, or you gonna end it nasty. Like it's never gonna work out though. But it's never going to work long term. Either you cut it then or y'all have a big nasty blow up later. But either way it ends.
The contract never said that about long term. The contract says good time.
You can't control.
Contract says enjoy the moment. Contract says flow. You know what I'm saying? Now you want to control the river? No. Now you want to control the wind? You got to go with the wind, man.
You're trying to control shit too in that manner though, dog, because at that time who she was then, what she was liking then, that's what she agreed to. But we all know next month you might feel some way. Another year you might feel a different way. So as the contract didn't say forever to infinity and beyond.
So the contract got love to evolve throughout time.
We got to understand it's not a standard thing. You know what I mean? People can't be standard. That's why no contract you sign in real life is going to be forever.
It's hard to tell a girl.
It's going to be hard.
I don't see the end road with you. You did?
Why is that hard?
I'm about to say, I'm waiting to see the hard part.
You say just what you just said. You say it to her face.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
Because she's gonna be all crying and shit.
Okay.
Fuck.
She'll get over it.
Wait, hold on. Why did
the computer or something?
the monitor went out? I don't know why. Hold up. You got 2 ad forms, huh? You busted the monitor out. Give me 1 second.
You're fine.
My son said, why?
I'm like, dog, you know how hard it is to hurt someone's feelings, dog. Like, it's like, for a person like me, I'd rather be the shitty ass person that you think is a fucked up person than to be like, and like you think like, and you walked away like a triumphant giant. Then for me to like break up with you, and then you be like, and then hate me because I'd be like, I just want to be out of this. I don't want to deal with this anymore.
She gonna hate you more if you just lead her on.
I was about to say, when does it end then? Do you let your guilt make you marry her? Do you let your guilt make you have 8 kids with her? Like, when does it stop?
Ma'am, I'm sorry. This dude here just wants to be dumped. He'd rather be dumped. I'm gonna just hope I get dumped.
That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping like I fuck up so well, and she be like, you know what? Enough, Joseph. I'm tired of this shit. You out 3 o'clock, and I don't have to be cheating. I just been out 3 o'clock just make you think I'm cheating.
I won't get dumped.
I just want to get dumped. Like, just leave me, please. And go on and be the best you can be. And think about the good times that we had. Because real talk, we both grew and we both did some good shit. So think about the good times we had. And leave the shitty person that you know and be better. Find better than yourself. You don't need me. I'm sorry. That's just how I'm coming.
Oh my God.
Well, luckily, it seems like you're headed to a more permanent situation. So there won't be any other women out there who will have to suffer through this situation.
I'm afraid of giving out rejection.
But here goes something I noticed. Here goes something I noticed just happened. Like, as women, you just said something without saying something just now. As a man, like, we get taught how fragile you guys are, how soft you are. And that's a problem. Like I said, we get taught young fuck wrong things. So he grows up. We grew up thinking, okay, I don't want to hurt her feelings. I don't want to break her because whatever. You're women, and you're like, just tell them. Yeah, she gonna cry. We cry. That's what we do, but we good. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're making it seem like he feeling like it's the end of the world, and y'all like, nah, gee, that's not the end of the world, but we gonna need that. I'd rather you tell me that, and I need that hit versus elongating, and it was like a gender thing. It was like your sister telling you that's just a girl, but you're like, but it's a girl.
That's what I need to get over myself. That's what it is. I'm thinking like, oh my God, I'm that much to her. She's gonna break down. She's crying.
I mean, that's ego. Is that too? But it's also just understanding that we're humans. Because
I also don't want to see nobody hurt. Like, that really hurts me to see someone hurt, knowing that I caused that, knowing that before I caused that, I was the one that caused you so much joy.
But you don't think that deeply about your male relationships necessarily.
Because I don't give a fuck about you niggas.
And that's,
like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's how they are too.
Y'all ain't going nowhere.
But we're all human, you know? So they say,
but they
like,
going somewhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't going nowhere. They going somewhere. But we are out of here. Like, I
thought you were going to be like, well, I'm fucking her.
Like, no, so we breaking up. So you out of here. We not breaking up. We going to fight, and I'm going to see you tomorrow.
That's not what I mean. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be, like, just how they were, like, more matter-of-fact and pragmatic when you're saying you're dealing with women. It's still a human being. She's still going to be good. And with the dude, you're going to be more matter-of-fact because you're not as afraid in your brain about hurting him or making him cry necessarily.
Well, but it's also different because, like, it's something different when you have, like, that connection like with your homie versus with your woman, man. It's something that there's a deep spiritual connection you have with your woman that you're about to separate from than with your homie. Though it's a spiritual connection on with your homie, but it's different because, like, it's some kind of realm. It's everlasting. Even if it's beat, there's some kind of love that's eternal. Over here, though, the love may be eternal that you have for someone, that connection is now gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's separate. It's almost a painful thing. Like, when which I'm
talking about just keeping it 100. I'm not talking about necessarily breaking up. I'm just saying how you deal with
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And breaking up, like, no, if I don't say I won't fuck with you no more, it's easier to do it with you because not that I bet you won't be hurt or nothing like that. It's just like I was never as soft with you like I was. I never been as soft with you. I've been like vulnerable, but with my woman, I'm soft. And in the moment, like, you know what I'm saying? Like this moment, I'm being soft again. Like this moment, we're both soft. And it hurts to be like to see you soft and now I get soft because like this shit is like, you know, something I just don't want to do. Like I out of all people, I always want to be your protector. I don't feel like your protector. I don't feel like, you know what I'm saying? For her, I feel like I'm everything and I want to give her everything. But you know what I'm saying? You're my dog and you're going to do everything. You know what I mean? And now like, I feel like, fuck, I fucked your whole world up. I feel like a dick.
Wait,
I feel like
I have a question. I have a question, Joe. I have a question. Do you feel this with every woman that you're with? Because what you're describing is what you should only be feeling with like select few serious relationships, not with like every chick that you fucked with.
Everyone? I don't know.
Yeah. And I don't think I'm speaking the zone. It's like, you know, when you talk to women, you ain't got to think that every woman's going to be broken.
Yeah, we're not Humpty Dumpty.
That's all I'm saying. You gave me that, but all I was just simply saying was...
Listen. I don't think I'll be broken easily. I just saying it hurts. It really hurts me more. I think it hurts them to feel like the dick that did that. You know what I'm saying? I'm somehow being like the bad guy.
To women, you don't want women to judge you badly.
I don't feel like being a bad guy, period. But like especially with
specifically with women, you don't want women to judge you. That's what it sounds like. You don't want women to judge you bad.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna like this fucked up ass dude because I'm not. But you know, I guess I can't control people's opinions of me. They're gonna think what they think.
You can't control people, but I can tell you as a woman, I might be hurt in that moment, but like I'm gonna get over it. And when I get over it and look back on it, I won't necessarily view you as like the villain. I might be like, you know what? He told me what it was from the beginning, and I just got in my head and wanted something he wasn't interested in. Like we put our big girl panties on, and we understand. In that moment, we might be emotional, but don't take that too hard. Because I once cried because these cheerleaders on ESPN came in second, and I thought they should have came in first on the championship. So like don't let
No, I mean as I got older, you know what I'm saying, I've like gone better through that, but it took a lot of time of like just being like able to be like, man.
Well, you just said the last girl made you feel this. What you mean? You just said the last one.
I mean, listen. She made me feel this, but I still put my fucking big boy pants on and walked away. I was like, but you're a big girl too. And we're both going to separate way in our ways. I just walked away. I just said it crying in front of her face. I walked away and cried. You dig? That's what I did.
But I feel you too, Breon, because most of the women, I'm real good friends with a lot of my exes because I kept it 100. And that's why a lot of them, even if we like stop talking for a second, we'll come back and be friends. And they'll reach out. I even give them advice on it because they'll be like, no, because you kept it 100 with me. And I respect that because not everybody do that. And that made me feel better. And like, I guess that made it easier for me to even, keep it on in the future, having that like appreciation for it. Even if at the time it was hard or at the time, it wasn't appreciated at that moment,
Correct.
So time be healing shit.
Elle, you want to jump in? You have something to say? I mean, I think you just need to keep it 100 from the beginning. That's just how I feel. I mean, it's like leading somebody on that's going to hurt them more, more in the long run. So it's better to just keep it 100 from day one.
And I think especially in this whole like virtual dating environment, a lot more people would probably be successful finding partners if people were honest and they weren't spending time being dishonest or putting on a front or being somebody they weren't, trying not to hurt your feelings. I think people would be a little more successful if they were just upfront.
But we need to get to the nitty gritty of we often talk about on the podcast, how we're all taught to date. You know what I'm saying? We need to come to a position where it's like equal footing on dating, where women are not looked down upon if you date around, and men not looking at you weird or feeling like we have to control you if you date. Because that's that whole, like, so many relationships happen because both people think that they have to be in a relationship to control the other one, so the other one don't date around, when dating around might have been the best thing for both of you at that time, possibly. But you know what I mean? Like, we don't, like, how we teach the genders to date be skewed from jump. So then everybody's scared to be 100 because they don't know how the other person is going to react. And it's just this ongoing effed up cycle. And it's almost like you go through a bunch of does before you find your tribe of people that's like-minded. And I just wish most of us like started off with this in mind of, no, we're all here, we're all dating. Dating is dating, not pre-marriage. Dating is dating. You know what I mean? I wish dating can get back to what it should be. And then when it turns to courting, we're understanding, oh, we're not just dating. Okay, now we're courting, meaning I can start cutting off people. Right. Oh, now we're in a relationship. Okay, now it's another contract. You know what I mean? We don't often get to build with the communication and clear transparency of these things because most folks be like, I like you, you're mine. And I'm going to keep mine on the slick, though, because I don't know what to do. And both genders do it, and it's effing us all up. And that's why I feel like that's the cause of a lot of effed up marriages. They don't start off right.
Yeah. That is the honest to God truth. Yeah. And you said something that I don't know if we've ever really said on the podcast before, but we should. More often than not, and I don't know if you recognize this, Joe, you're not the only guy we have, in the arsenal that we could holler at. Even if when you tell us, look, I didn't want to go further than this, whoop-de-whoop, and we cry and everything. When we leave and we go home that night, we texting another dude. We call it the emergency dick in a glass. Okay, you are never the only man she can call. All right? No matter how you feel about it.
Listen. I don't think that there's not another dude that can do anything like that. There's not another dude that can call. I just have this thing like I just don't want to do the wrong thing. I don't want to make people feel bad. I like to always make people feel good. It's always been my thing to like people smile on a person's face. And like the person that I care about the most, like it's like I just damn, like I that's why I said I'd rather you dump me and play on me and I'd rather do all this in the third because like
But see the person you care about the most, why are you dropping them? Because which one are we talking about?
Because I care about you the most. I'm dropping you because I don't want to be with you.
Well, see, look how hard that was. But what I'm saying is, I
don't want like that.
I'm confused. Are we talking about women out here that you just randomly talking to and you might whoopie-woo with?
No.
We talking about somebody that you dating, that you've been with, that you want to break up with? We talking about somebody you want to work things out with? Because those are all three different situations that you can't all handle the same way.
As far as dating, shit, the shit don't work out. You know what I'm saying? It just don't work out. And I don't feel like I ain't had to say nothing that's gonna work out. It naturally shows it don't work out. And we just want to be cool in some kind of source. It's like the Bible show that.
Or you're afraid to tell those girls things, the ones that you didn't get so deep and connected with.
Hell no!
And that's what at first it seemed like. That's why they asked you that question. At first it seemed like all women
that you talk to, right?
And I'm gonna be so.
Hell no!
So we're having two different conversations because I was thinking you were talking about like not the randoms, but like the ones you're just kind of having fun with. You feel this deep.
Listen. No. Listen. No. I'm sorry I painted that picture for y'all. I'm sorry. Damn. No. There's been many women I've dated like this and thing. Like I don't feel that way about it. It just be like women I've built that kind of thing of time, but like where like we built a friendship and we had this thing where like we didn't fuck around and got cool, but like
it's the friendship.
It's the friendship.
You don't want to hurt your friend.
I don't want to hurt my friend.
You want to break up with the girl.
But no, a girl that like I'm fucking around with. Man, listen, I told a girl and this is man, listen, I told a girl one time because stuff wasn't right in bed. That listen, I'll go sleep on the couch and you can sleep in my bed. But after that, we can holler at each other later. Because it just that's like sometimes I keep it blunt because sometimes I feel like y'all some women in my life was too disrespectful. I'm like, baby, I need to keep it straight with you. You out your motherfucking pocket. You talking what? What? You know what? You gonna talk to me like what? You doing what? You still my weed?
You said someone in my life have been too disrespectful.
You stealing my weed?
You gonna come over here all the time to smoke? Hey Joe, you got some? Hold on, baby. I'm gonna keep it on right now.
Calm down. You just went somewhere. Calm.
I keep it 100. All right, I keep it 100. All right. Don't ever let Joe tell. Listen, some people think I'm a dick. All right. Some people think I'm a dick out of this world because I keep it 200. But just like certain parts when it's that breakup that I feel like, or that part where I'm like telling the person that when I tell them I don't want to do this, and because I'm never not one. I'm always 100% honest. I just feel fucked up because like that when I choose this honesty that I be thinking of my grandpa said is like, dog, if you would have lied, she wouldn't be doing all this shit you're doing now. But like, I do feel as I keep practicing that 100 muscle, I do feel better about my life. Because it feels good on my end to say, hey, no matter what happens, dog, you kept it 100 with you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes me feel better about keeping 100 more than anything else. I mean, besides the other person's point of keep giving them the option to do whatever they want with it, I look at myself first of like, dog, you keep it 100 with yourself, then everything will work out at least better for you than anything else. And hopefully keeping it 100 for them, it works better out for them.
I feel like it's generational, though. Like, I feel like our parents taught us one way, but like now we're going to teach our kids a different way about like dating and interacting with the opposite sex and just in general. Like, because I'm not going to, do that whole, well, boys will be boys, and like with my sons, like I'm like, that's no, fuck that. Like, I'm not gonna, no, you need to be accountable and you need to be honest. And, if you feel a certain type of way about somebody, you need to tell them that. Like, none of that, like, oh, you don't tell a girl this, you don't say that. Like, I'm not doing that. And I know, like, I don't have daughters, but for me, growing up, it was like, sex is bad. Women are not supposed to be sexual beings. You're not supposed to enjoy it. If you have multiple sexual partners, you're just a hoe and all this other stuff. If I had a daughter, I'd be like, girl, if you like sex, just be careful. Like, that's all I want you to do is be safe. Like, be responsible, but do you. Yeah.
That's all I'm with. I'm not telling you to wait till marriage necessarily.
I'm not going to condemn you for these things that we all go through as human beings.
Right. So hopefully the people after us won't have this same, oh, I can't be honest with you because I'm afraid that I'll break you in a million pieces, or, like that. Like, hopefully that, because I don't fault you for it. It's more than likely what you were taught. Like, every guy that I've talked to.
It's something I recognize, and it's something I do my best to work out of, you dig? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, like, I ain't saying it's cool or none of that. It's just something that I just, like, I need to get over that shit because it's just not cool.
So I have a question, kind of shifting gears a little bit. How do y'all feel about marriage?
I love it. I can't wait to get married. Not that I can't wait to get married, but like I thought about my wedding day like a child has like a young lady thought about hers. I thought about mine. You know what I'm saying? And if someone goes like Tyler Perry's Dear Family Reunion with Johnny Gill coming and the guy on the piano, it's something like that in my head.
That shit tacky. Don't do that.
It ain't gonna be that wild, but it's something of that like that kind of magical, like that seems like forever till I'm ready for you. Like,
don't have people hanging from the ceiling. That's tacky.
I'm never having nobody hanging from the ceiling. The singer might come flying from the ceiling. No,
Jesus.
I just know that, like, I thought about my wedding day a lot, and I always told me and all the fellas say this about the person that we want to marry, that if we don't feel tears coming down our face, then she ain't the one. And that's why the girl I fuck with now, I even fuck with her so tough, because, like, out of all the girls I've ever been with, she the only one I just keep seeing come down the aisle, and I just be crying in my head. Like, inside, I just be crying, like, of happiness. Be like, bro, if I get the chance to spend the rest of my life with you, bro, I do whatever I can to do that shit. And so, yeah, I'm all for marriage. And I'm all for marriage for anybody that want to do it the way they want to do it. And the way I would want to do it is just that me and her tie that bond and not together. And whatever we work through as a partnership. That'd be my number one teammate for life. You know what I'm saying? That'd be the Scottie Pippen to the mic. Really be Kobe and Jordan together. We took together, put them on teams.
I was gonna say it can't be Scottie and Mike, because Scottie made some bad decisions with his money in the beginning. And I watched The Last Dance, okay? And I hope that neither one of y'all would be that stupid.
Future better fuck my old lady. But,
So I'm actually not surprised by your response, because based on your personality, that seems like exactly
what I thought you would have said.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I mean, that's not knock. Obviously, we're advocates for marriage. Like, I'm happy that you're excited about marriage.
You're on the right podcast, buddy.
We're going to have Joseph come back. What about you, Martin? I think you may have touched on it before, though, but just so the people are clear.
I just stand by, do what works for you. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times we're all taught, it's almost like we all taught, go to high school, college, you got to do that. Have kids, get married, you have to do that. And I remember my being young, that's the thing. I thought I was going to be married by 25, like 3 kids by 30. You know what I mean? You have all these expectations. And like, as I've grown up and I've like I've dated a lot. I've had all kind of experiences and I've just met all kind of people. I've got to the point where it's like, if I get married, that'd be great. If I don't get married, that'd be great. Not great, but I'll be okay with it. You know what I mean? At one point, I didn't think I'd be okay with it because you need to have someone, or you have to get married, or you're not complete, or you have not achieved everything that you need to achieve in life. It's like how they treat women with having kids. You ain't have a kid yet? You ain't married yet? With men, it's like, yo, you don't have a wife yet? They don't really ride us about kids as much as why you ain't married yet. You know what I mean? Why you ain't settled down? And it's almost like you get put on, you don't get put on the clock of the biological clock, but you get put on some other kind
clock that when you go start wilding out clock.
Because the older you get as a man, if you're single, you looked at as a hoe. You know what I mean? Or something wrong with you. What's wrong with you, old single man?
You ain't building your tree and your legacy.
But I do want a partner. So it's like I think my trepidations with marriage come from government shit. Just seeing how the government has just seeing, and really you see it more so, and that's the thing. I shouldn't even think about that getting into a marriage because you really see it more so in divorces. Like if your marriage is happy and everything's going good, hey, everything's great. Everything looks great. You know what I mean? But you really notice I've seen people get divorced, and I'm like, damn, like the government is really in y'all shit. Like,
but even when you married, like when you happy, dog, like if y'all don't discuss finances beforehand, she could bring some credit. You could bring some credit that could fuck your whole thing up for some plans that y'all thought y'all had, but then y'all realize that one of y'all that y'all joint forces, now all y'all credit fucked up as a force. You dig? You know what I mean?
I'm not even thinking about it. That's not my issues with it. But
I'm just saying when the government get in there, they'll fuck your shit up like that too. When you thinking, oh, we happily married, it's gonna work out. Damn, my student loans that did this. Oh man, we can't get this house we thought we was gonna get out of love.
I think y'all should have that conversation before you get married. But
some people don't even know.
Hey, you need to talk. Communication. Like, before you get married, that's the best part of marriage is a business too. So before you get with your new business partner, y'all need to discuss what's going on in y'all finances. And it's not just, a lot of people just ride the love wave when it's not just that. You gotta have you gotta be pragmatic to a degree. You know what I mean? Like, I know what I would do if I were to get married. It's just like, I want to know that's what I want and not be doing it because I feel like I have to do it. And like he said, like Joe said, we've had that discussion amongst the fellas, like, because we've been enough about, we got married friends. So you go to a wedding, you see your partner, it's like, damn, my dog crying. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, and like, you want whoever you're with to have that effect on you. Like, yo, even if you're not balling, but you could see the difference.
You
like,
feel like, man.
It's like happy. Oh, I've ever seen that face.
Right. You see that face once or twice in your lifetime. That kind of face.
Yeah.
You see that face with your kids, boy. You see that face when she walked down the aisle, when she for real, you feel like that she knows you're the one.
So I just want to, I feel like I want to feel that personally if I'm going to decide to go that route. And, you know, because I got a friend of mine, she was married, she got divorced, and right now she's married. I'm going to say quotation marks because, like, they claim each other like marriage, and I thought they was married. She's like, no, I'm not ever signing papers again to do that because of her divorce. But in all respects, I'm going to respect the union. If you're telling everybody you married, y'all got rings and stuff, even if you didn't go through the government situation, who am I to tell you that you're not? Right. So, you know,
government.
Yeah, the government, but that's also the negative side of it, like when you die, you got problems. But that's another topic. But, yeah, I feel like it's cool. It's cool.
This is honestly the first time I've heard this perspective from like guys. Because, I mean, you got to keep in mind all the guys I'm around are married. But I never knew that you guys also feel pressure to get married. Did y'all know that, L, CJ?
No. So I never knew that guys felt pressured to get married. I've just always known the guys who aren't married to me anyway, play it off like, whatever. I don't need to be married. It's no big deal.
Defense mechanism.
And also, it's the realm of guys you're around. Like when you the same kind of guys that, you know, like if you hanging around a bunch of guys who wind up going and getting married a little bit later on, like not like when I was growing up, not so many guys that I knew from that era was getting married because they just wasn't raised with that kind of mindset. But other guys who, you know, kind of came from 2-parent homes or just had some different type of upbringing that was a little bit, you know, nicer, neighborhood was nicer. They wound up with get married or something like that, develop a family, and you be around them cats and you be a single as motherfucker and you be like,
you're the weird one.
Right. All right.
You're the one none of the wives want their friend to come around.
Right.
Like, oh man, like you can't go out with Mark. You know what Mark be doing? You better go out with Joe. Joe got his girl name tatted on him. That's safe. You never see your friend again.
Don't trust that.
But one thing that you did touch on was something too about knowing what kind of guys you're dealing with. You know what I mean? That even goes to dating. There's some guys out there that are like relationship guys that they just love being in relationships. Yeah. They might have had 2 girlfriends before you met them and got married. There's some guys that just program on some Playboy shit at the time. They're not there. And they're used to freaking juggling, and that's their mindset. You know what I mean? And there's so many different kinds of guys. And a lot of times, and men, we do it to the women, but a lot of times when women are talking about men, y'all go, men. And y'all, there's this big swath. And it's like, nah, they got different categories of men that you covering with this swath. So while there's some of the guys that do feel the pressure, some guys probably aren't even aware or even conscionable to even give a damn about any kind of that pressure that me and Joe just talked about. You know what I mean? They might even just be surrounded by the type of guys that look down upon any of that. And if that's your whole circle and that's the world that you're living in, you're not even, it's like the unknown. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends. Context always matters. We always say that.
But there is an overall societal pressure, not as heavy as women to get married. But it is some pressure from societal overall pressure that men settle down. Like the thing is, they tell women to marry and they want them to kind of marry young. They want men to settle down. So they want men to marry and pressure them, but to marry around a certain age, usually around the 30s to 40s, when they feel like they think they should chill now.
No, my point is just only certain dudes care about that.
I know your point. I'm just saying.
That's all.
So in y'all's perspective, looking on the outside, do you feel like marriage is hard work?
Hell yeah. Everything is hard work. Every relationship I've ever been in with anything is hard work. Relationship I got with my PS4 is hard work. The relationship I got with my brotherhood is hard work. You know what I'm saying? Everything is hard work. When you put some time into shit and you really believe in it, it's gonna be some ups and downs. I never in my life ever thought about what a relationship or any kind would be hard work, marriage or anything. I always thought about what will be my limits of how much I'm gonna deal with. You know what I'm saying? And throughout time, those limits and those buttons and those lines in the sand change. They get longer or shorter. But I don't go in there with a sense of hard work. I know it's gonna be hard work. I'd rather enjoy the good times, and when the hard work come, and then let's put the boots on, let's get to working, because we in it for the work. But the day you feel like you too tired, and you don't want the sweat to drip off your brow no more, if I feel like this shit is beyond me, well, here's my retirement card. Go on, clock out.
Define hard.
So that's what I was gonna say. How do you define hard? So for me, I don't feel like marriage is hard work. I feel like it's consistent work. So you're constantly putting in time and effort, and you're constantly considering someone else's feelings. So it's not hard per se, but you have to constantly do it. Something as simple as, what's for dinner tonight? I could say, I just want a sandwich, but my husband may not want a sandwich. So to the simple task of me saying, hey, what do you want? Do you want a sandwich too, or do you want something different? It's a consistent thing more so than it is hard.
What about you, Elle?
It's funny that you say that about the, choosing dinner, because that's the hardest part of our relationship. It's deciding and try to compromise on what you want to eat. I really don't think and feel like marriage is hard work. I do feel like every step of our relationship, when we were dating, that was the hardest part in our whole relationship, the dating part, just getting to know each other, learning to compromise and really understand what the other person wants and needs. And then it got a little bit easier when we made it official, this is just us, but it still was hard. It was a lot of still compromising and learning each other and everything. And then when we started, then when we got engaged, it got a little bit easier. And, we were around each other a lot more. We were I only see you, and, we're completely in love, and, everything got a little bit easier. Then marriage, this is the easiest part, because I'm with my best friend every day. We have fun. We look forward to, coming home from work and spending time with each other, seeing each other. Now we have a daughter. We're enjoying spending time with her, and it just got easier and easier. But I will say the dating aspect was very hard.
So for me, go ahead. What were you saying, Martin?
You finish what you're saying. Only thing I wanted to say about what Elle said, or about she's with her best friend. And that's the part about when you asked me earlier about how I feel about marriage. That's the part that makes marriage tight to me. Like, if you could be like, if it's your best friend, or you're with your best friend and y'all about to take over the world. I think that's beautiful. I think a lot of times we lose sight of that. But what you're saying, Bree?
I was just gonna say, to say something is like hard work to me, like it has a negative connotation of like it's something that like I have to like endure or suffer, or it's strife, it's difficult, it's and I never see my marriage that way. To piggyback off of what CJ said, you're making a conscious effort to choose to include this person in every step of your life constantly. But that's not difficult because, like what Elle said, it's your best friend. You want that person around and you want that person happy, and they want you around and they want you happy. So it's kind of like it's easy. And it's not to say that like we've been together almost 13 years. We've been married for almost 8. It's not to say in those years we've never like dealt with anything really difficult. Of course we have. But the difference is it's always been me and him versus the problem. It's never been me versus him. And I think a lot of that is not necessarily the institution of marriage. It's choosing the right partner. And that's where I think a lot of it gets lost. Some people get in love with the idea of a wedding, or the idea of saying I have a wife or I have a husband, or what that looks like, versus actually seeking out the right partner and then incorporating that into a marriage. Like they're trying to how am I trying to put this? You put your partnership into a marriage. You don't put the marriage into a partnership. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I like what you said about, because it's not even just the partners. You and your perspective has to be shared. You know what I'm saying? Because when you spoke about us being on the same team versus the problem versus us being against each other, a lot of relationships is man versus woman, instead of man and woman remembering we're in a friendship and it should be us two versus that. And that perspective is so necessary before a ring even gets put on anyone's fingers. You know what I mean? That perspective at the foundation is necessary. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I do feel... I'm sorry,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I got it. I'm not saying nothing. Go ahead.
And I also think there are things in a marriage that are hard, but it's not the marriage itself. Like, for instance, we dealt with 2 renovations for houses, and we bumped heads a lot, but the renovation was hard. It wasn't because our marriage is hard and then we dealt with infertility, and that's a hard situation. It's not our relationship that's hard. It's the situation that's hard. So, yeah, I mean, we bump heads, we fight, but I mean, you do that with your best friend, You do that
and it's also
to everybody, family,
I'm about to say it's also diagnosing, because that's one thing in my relationship that I like me and my girl have to talk about. Is like mine. Like you got to take in when is this is this a problem that we're having, or is this a problem that we're reacting to? You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if I'm that clear on that, but it's like at times when like at its hardest time, I have to almost single out wait. Me and her, when we don't really have problems. Like me and you, our personalities ain't having an issue with each other. The problem is we're both reacting badly to this situation or to this outside stimuli. And instead of being as communicative as we can to like come together on this, instead we're not realizing we're not realizing what the head bump is truly for. And that's when you talk about diagnosing what is hard. You know what I mean? Some people think of marriage being hard because they're diagnosing the head bump as, me and that person just don't get along. It was like, no, you think about it. You most likely get along most of the time. It's just you're not realizing the source of the strife that's happening. And once again,
that sounds like a lot of poor communication with that as well. Then, because like
you got to have that. You got to communicate.
Yeah, communication. Because like there's a problem ahead, and y'all keep bumping heads of how to attack the problem. Y'all become the problem. How to attack the problem. It's like we got besides the issue now.
And I feel like that is so important, but all of that, in my opinion, has to get worked out before we get married. That's why dating is so important. You gotta lay, like what Elle said, the foundation of everything. We have to learn how to effectively communicate. We have to learn how to effectively argue, because there's a right way to do that. We have to learn what buttons to push, which ones you never push.
We have to learn how to effectively disagree, because when you say argue, that comes with the wrong connotation.
True, and I'm not trying. Yeah, so we can say disagree. Although my husband might say argue because I yell and he doesn't. But he knows that about me, and he knows that's just because I'm extra and I'm passionate, and I'm, he knows I'm not really yelling at him. I'm yelling at the problem.
Right. No, but that's just the color. That's just the color.
Exactly. But to learn that, and for him to know, like, okay, don't take this personally because it's not about me. It's about the problem. She's just angry. We had to learn that in the beginning, And so when some people are like, yes, I just met him and I know he's the one. I'm like, how? It took me a little time to know mine was the one. Like, I don't know how they just figured that out overnight.
Depends. I feel like different people have different, like, chemistries.
Yeah.
And some, because I've met some women that, like, at first I wasn't really into them, and then some clicked, and I was like, damn, I'm really feeling this girl. And then some, like, first instant, like, dang, like, we clicking. So I just feel like it's different chemistries with that.
Man, I know my girl was relieved when she found out something I did was like that I did, or that was a personality trait instead of something I just did with her. It's just like she was like, wait a minute, because it was something negative. I think it was something because sometimes I get a little overdramatic, blame the actor in me. But she just said something. I said something. I said, man, my mama be telling me that shit. Telling me that. She said, your mama said this. And she was like, oh, I'm so thankful. Oh my God, it's not me. This is just who you are. I can accept that. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, because at first I was like, she couldn't accept it at first because I guess she thought I was attacking her. But when she realized, nah, this is some fucked up part of you that I can deal with, but it's who you are. I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. And I was like, okay.
That's why dating, I think, is so important. And I think there's an art to dating. And I feel like it's getting a little bit lost. We got to not we, because I'm obviously not dating, but got to kind of bring it back, But to piggyback off of dating, do y'all have any like dating deal breakers? Like straight up, like I thought I was feeling this chick and then I found out X, Y, Z. Oh, wait, you want to go into that one yet?
Wait, I'm going to say before you get to dating deal breakers, I just wanted to say there is this one gray area in marriage is hard when I feel like it gets really hard to distinguish your relationship versus the outside problem. And that's with kids. Because I feel like I'm in that situation right now. And my husband and I are basically on two different pages about what we want for our son's education. So for me, like, that's a huge deal because, education, you start at kindergarten. And if you make the wrong decision along the way, that could be detrimental to their future. So, he wants him one place. I want him another place. And I guess the problem is not necessarily within our marriage, but it is because I feel like my kids are an extension of me. And if, you're married to me, then my children are all, I don't know, it seems like it's all mixed in there. So I am working to not get mad at my husband when we talk about the school situation, because it's my son's situation. Like, it's his problem that we're trying to work out. But my husband and I are the ones making the decision. I don't know. I
have the answer if you want it.
What?
You send him to whatever school he wants. You send your daughter to whatever school you want. And that way she'll be a mini you. He'll be a mini him. Problem solved.
If only it were that easy. But I guess my point being, kids tend to be a gray area when you're talking about marriage being hard and making decisions and remembering that the outside factor is the outside factor.
I will 100% agree with that because before we had kids, I would literally be offended when people say, oh, marriage is hard work. I'm like, no, it's not. It's the best thing ever. Like, it's your best friend. You're spending all this time together and it's awesome. Then when we had kids, it was like, oh, I can see how this could complicate things a little bit more. Things started to change a little bit. But I can agree with that 100%. It's still...
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say the only reason why I don't share y'all's sentiments is my husband and I really look at it like, so the marriage is ours. The family is the family's. And if it's something with the kids, it's actually not a part of the marriage. So that's how we see it. So it won't cause like a marital strife. We can fuss about differing ideals or whatever, but like it doesn't affect our marriage. It's just how we purposefully view it. We purposefully view, because we see the kids as like, they're our children, they're our family, but they're their own beings with their own lives and their own entities. And this marriage is a part of our entity, not theirs. So like we don't let issues with the kids mean an issue for us. Not to say that we won't argue about stuff with the kids, but it won't make me like be like, well, fuck you too then. Like it just won't make me be like that because it's not a marital thing for us. I don't know.
I think it would be easier if my kids were adults and able to make decisions on their own.
Well, but then you wouldn't be involved.
Right, because we're making a decision and we have to make a decision together, that means we have to come to a compromise or some sort of agreement for this person.
Right, but the same way like you see it as we have to come to a compromise for them, we see it as this is for them. This is not about us, so it's not going to harm us. Do you know what I'm saying?
And where's the level of compromise to because apparently y'all both seem like y'all would pick good schools. So is there not a school that to kind of or something?
Call them. Send one to this one to that one. Done.
That sound easy, but I get you because what you're talking about, CJ, also is not even just something with education. Like I think that's an interesting thing that can happen within marriages of just. The husband and wife might have different perspectives on parenting, or what they see is how you should raise a boy, how you should raise a girl, or what a kid like. There's so many things. Like I know some people like I'll never curse in front of my kids. Some people like I always curse in front of my kids. Some people like I'll never do this in front of my kids. Some people say I don't care about this. Some people say that. There's so many levels to it, and you might be with someone that you might not have noticed at the time. Didn't like I had a friend of mine. She's married. She wanted her son to play violin. She didn't know how hard up her husband was against the violin. And that was a thing. And that's nothing that they really discussed in the day. They didn't think they would have to ever come to that conversation. But that happened, and now she's seeing a new side of her husband that she didn't even know was there. So I can see that being something, Yeah.
So it's just a gray area. It's not.
It is a gray area, but I'm doing a bad job of explaining how we separated.
I don't think you're doing a bad job. I am
because I'm not able to articulate that
it doesn't affect your marriage.
Yeah.
I get that doesn't affect your marriage. I think what CJ is saying is, but within our marriage, we're not saying it hurts the marriage, but we talking about the topic of how some things that are not hunky dory, yippee kumbaya.
Oh yeah, of course.
The kumbaya moment when we get into the gray area of disagreeing about what to do with the kid situation, a situation that would affect the kid. That's all.
Right.
That's something.
Yeah.
I can say this though, we have never gone against a problem where we didn't both agree that there was one of us who was better to lead in that situation. I don't know how we would handle it if we both felt like we should have been leading in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Like with you guys in the school, y'all both feel like you would be making the better decision. For everything we've ever dealt with, it's always been well, I think I'm going to follow his lead on this because he knows more about this, or he feels like, no, my wife definitely knows more about this. I'm going to follow her lead and like that. So I don't know what we would do in that situation. If we ever get there, I'll let you know. We haven't gotten there yet, though. So
that's what the podcast for, girl.
Yes. I'm going to come bring it to y'all. But I was asking about dating deal breakers. So what's something you might have been feeling a chick, she slid in your DMs or whatever, and it's okay, we could go out and kick it or whatever. She does this thing or says this thing or has this thing or whatever it is that's gonna make you be like, nope, I'm leaving and I'm not calling her again.
For me, one of the biggest things is I like to call them in my mind social work daters. I get on a date with you and instead of enjoying a good time, you are here trying to read me about my whole childhood issues on the first time we linked.
You say social work.
I'm not here. I'm not your client, ma'am. I'm not your client. I'm not charging you by the hour. I'm out of here. So, how's your dating life? You don't like to date too much, huh? What's your father in your life? Bam. So, I like jazz music.
I like jazz.
I'm out here. Check, please. It's just, I don't know. That's one of the things that I always like. One woman did that, like, the thing was good, and next thing you know, she started, like, just throwing all type of, like, things of what is this in the third, and, like, she started asking questions that I was like, I don't want to ask these kind of questions this early right now, because we not on that level of even getting like that. We just saying, how you doing, what's up,
right.
Can I take time, you know? I'm on some Luther Vandross right now, Charlie, you know, say, excuse me, miss, you know, well, what's your name? Where you from? Can I come? That's what I'm on right now. And you gonna turn around and ask me, you know, what's my deepest, darkest fears? Like, what is going on with you? Like, I don't get like.
Are you high right now? Do you ever get nervous?
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. You know, what is the meaning of life, lady? Get out of here. Like, so those things kind of like get on my nerves. Like, I always feel like, not always, but I do feel like people have tactics, and like I don't like to feel like an objective. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to feel like something like that you got to break down, something like that. I feel like I'm a real enjoyable moment type person. And also, I don't like to feel like entertainment. Once I feel like I'm your entertainment, not saying that the thing is, you might like me and you think I'm cool, but if I feel like I'm doing this kind of dance for you, like you don't have nothing to offer, we talk about the news, and it's like you don't, or anything, just anything about your life. I don't give a fuck about what I know. What do you know? And we can't feel like some kind of thing on that level. I'm out of there, bro. I'm peace out, man. And they be like, why you out of there, Joe? Because I felt like I was on fucking news. I was on fucking book. I was on fucking TV show. I was a comedian. And then,
project.
And on top of that, she broke me down mentally and talked about how I need to go reconnect with my father. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm out of here.
Sounds like y'all asked the right question.
Right.
What about you, Martin?
Okay, one thing I will say that he said about the entertainment aspect. Some women that you meet, and this is going to connect to the second thing I got. Some women that you meet, you feel like the onus is on you to make them laugh. The onus is on you to keep the conversation going. The onus is on you to think of what to talk about. Yeah. Like the onus is on you to prove to them that you're good enough, and like they're not trying to make you laugh. They're not trying to come up with no conversation. Like it don't feel like a joint.
Right.
A date should be a date. We both vibing. And some people, I don't know how it is on y'all end with some guys, but I know with some women, like you'll feel like, damn. Like what he said, you're not offering anything to this conversation or what. And I say that as well.
I have to.
I say as well because like I love women with depth. I love women that like we can just talk about stuff. You know what I mean? I don't care how pretty. Like, of course, I want to be attracted to you, but you could be the finest woman in the world, and if we're having a conversation and we can't, if it doesn't feel like we can talk about anything, we can't get beyond just surface shit. Then like I want to get beyond surface shit even for somebody I'm just fucking because. If we just fucking and then we wind up chilling and we might roll up a blunt and kick it, I don't want to just look at you. You look at me. I'm looking at you. Right? You know what I'm saying? So, I like we got to be able to have a conversation. And you can't vote for Trump, but shit like that.
Oh yeah. See, now we can talk about politics. That's a whole nother issue too. Once you start, I ain't gonna lie, and I'm also I can't date a white girl. I don't know why. I'm a little big. That's a little biggest about me. Some about white girls I just can't date. I just don't. I don't know. I dated a few before, and it just was. I can't speak for every white girl to be like that, but my experience left me scarred. So like, it just ain't nothing I'm really trying to mess with. I don't think that.
Is it outside your race, period, or just white girls?
I'm gonna say that race of people. Outside of race of I say this, but what you say?
Is it outside of your race, period, or just white girls?
Just white girls.
So like Latina, Asian, you're cool.
Get a chance.
Okay.
I can agree with that. Those deal breakers for sure. That was
not me. I date anybody. I didn't care.
No. I didn't mean the race thing. I'm talking about. No,
I dated white guys.
Not being able to hold.
And I don't mind people either. I don't mind. It's just my thing.
Bree said, "I went to swirl."
I did. I listen. If we were vibing. I didn't really care. Now, I didn't get deep enough for it to be an issue, where it's like, he tells me he has like a slave fantasy or something. Like, I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, just, to kick it, date, make out, flirt, whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm in the interesting conversation. Like, if I can't hold a conversation with you about multiple topics, for an extended period of time, then you're probably not for me.
Yeah, like it's like teeth. Like, come on, give me something.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And I agree with you. Like, I have seen women that's like, I mean, he just didn't have like a good conversation. It's like, okay, but did you try, or did you just sit there waiting on him to like dance monkey for you? Like, it's a give and take, it's a volley. We have to, oh shit, I forgot what I was about to say. Never mind. It was probably something silly about dating white boys.
Man, listen, I think that like and as far as give and take part of it is just that it's it is so hard to see, like, to be on a date with someone and they spend a lot of time having these walls up against them to not enjoy themselves. And it doesn't matter, even after you break down those walls and have the person enjoy themselves, you're a little bit exhausted. So, like, because there's been times where, like, I've broken down the walls of people who've been like that and actually got them to talk and be actually cool. But it just like, now I'm tired because, like, man, it's supposed to be a date. What do people think a date is? Like, we're supposed to come here and just, like, just have fun. We're supposed to be light, chill. Now, if anything, be on guard because you don't know me. Tell your friends, what I'm saying, where my number is or whatever, because, that's, you'll be safe. But, like, for the most part, we chilling, and it's in the daytime. We drinking, mimosas. We had the broken egg. We chilling. Like,
I love
relax yourself, man.
Yeah, I agree. So, was there any like date in particular that you would say was your worst date? I obviously don't give names, but because I'm trying to get sued.
Worst date.
Yeah, that's a good one. Worst date. I don't really have bad dates.
Right.
That's great, because we all had one. Like, L's involved a very bad car accident. CJ's, your guy, like, OD'd on drugs or something like that.
Oh, God.
I must have a crazy. I know I have a crazy date. Crazy date. Damn, you having Pulp Fiction moments over there. She said OD.
Right. A crazy date.
The only thing that come close to it, I won't call it, because when you say the OD thing, I've been there. Like, I remember we did an edible before. I had a screening of a movie I was going to be in, and I remember we drove out maybe to Baton Rouge for this movie, and it was the first time it was going to be screened. We walked the red carpet and everything. We took these edible gummies, and we were in there, and like, as the movie's just starting, I'm one of the main characters, and I'm walking the red carpet. I got my girl with me. I'm like, yeah, we be doing it, baby. Then she grabbed me by my arm as we sitting as it starts. She's like, I don't feel good. I'm like, everything okay? She's like, everything is spinning. I can't breathe. We gotta move. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. So then we walk out. She's like, I don't feel good. I can't breathe. I can't feel my stomach. I can't feel my heart. I can't feel my heart. I can't breathe. And she started like tripping. You gotta call the ambulance. I'm like, call the ambulance. You gotta call people. Call people. Next, you know how to call the ambulance. They came to the movie theater. She got stretchered out. She took it the ambulance ride to the spot. I had to take her car, and we was in the freaking ICU for a minute. And like, that's the first time I was like, bro, like, you just had a bad experience with an edible. And I often tell people, you got to ride it out. Don't waste your time going to the hospital. What they're going to do is charge you all that money to put you in a bed, put an IV in you, and let you sleep it off. But, that was one of the first times that I learned to not do that through her, because that's all we did. And I'm just in that motherfucker for a few hours. Like she slept off this edible, and I missed my whole movie. So,
oh, that sucks. What about you, Joe?
Worst date I had, I was meeting this girl who, funny enough, even though we was in the same city, we linked up from Tinder. And so I was going to meet her, we've been talking this, that, and the third. And I get to our house, and her house was just filthy.
Wait, it's what?
Yeah, that house was fucking filthy. That bitch was mad. Like, I was in that bitch, and I walked in that bitch, and I ain't gonna lie, when I say nasty, I don't mind trash, but like, the kitchen area I walked through like 4 trash bags, and the front, like, damn, I almost was like, I can throw the trash out for you. Like, you don't need to like just have it collected for you. And like, I was like, you know what? It ain't that bad. But then when I got to our room, I'm like, this shit is all fucked up. Like, you knew I was coming. And like, and I was like, and then like there was a roach on a, like it was dead, but it was like fresh dead. It been dead. Like, he got embalmed in, had a funeral service for it.
He was so disgusted when he came off. I remember this. That's why I bust out laughing. He was so disgusted.
Like this, dog. I was like, dog, I ain't never seen nothing like this, dog. Like, it's like she didn't care that I was coming over. She like this. God,
I saw roaches. I saw dirty drawers, bats. I saw dirty drawers and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, I never met a woman like this.
Like, son, like I never met a person like that, dog. Like, let alone a woman. Like, I was like, dog, I understand you might be, dirty in some areas. Some things might not be clean, but this shit is filthy. This shit is this shit was. It felt so bad that I wanted to clean up floor. I'm like, listen, this day can be a cleanup day. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no.
When I walked out that house, and I was a gentleman all the way through, but when I walked out that motherfucker, I ain't never looked back. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never looked back. I was like, my God. And yeah, that was the worst date I ever had. I never thought I'd see some shit like that. Oh, like, if you'd have saw that roach, that's what I wish you would have saw that roach.
I don't do roaches at all. Dead, live, half dead, half live. No.
I remember we post this on our feed to cut this part out because that girl listens to our podcast.
She do?
Continue.
Oh, shit.
She didn't say her name, and she knows she shouldn't have had no decaying rigor mortis roach on the floor. Come on now. Come on, sis.
I don't want to see that shit. Like, come on now. Fuck that. I was coming over. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was coming over. She could have took at least one of the bags of trash out. Shit. like, I don't know, bro. And I'm not mad at how you keep your house, but that shit right there just was a deal breaker for me. I was like, oh no, baby. Some people, you can't put their food on paper plates. I'm not that kind of guy. But some part of cleanliness is next to godliness for me.
It would have been a deal breaker for me too. That's crazy.
Me too.
Especially if in the future you expect me to come over and hang out at your house. That's not happening.
Because if I feel one on me, I'm losing my shit.
Well, I'm not coming knowing there's a possibility that it's not on me, but it's like on the wall. It's on the
in
couch.
my purse.
Like, no.
I step on it and the crunch.
You get in the car and you dumping your bag out to make sure nothing.
You gotta do the shake out.
No. She did a follow on the weed level. She had rolled up a guard, and it was like the smallest guard I ever seen.
Oh, make it even more specific for me after it out. Get more specific.
And it was like Reggie in it. I was like, man, you smoke a small Reggie guard? I don't want to smoke it here.
Oh my God. Okay, so this will be quick and fun.
I still love you as a person.
So these will be like real quick. I'm gonna just rapid fire throw out like scenarios, and you tell me if it's a deal breaker or not. You ready? Yeah?
Yep.
You ready? Okay. Yep. So would you date somebody who's a virgin?
Yes.
No.
Oh, wait. Not anymore. No.
What changed in the last 2 seconds?
This is if you were single.
Right.
If you were single.
Because I thought about my young mind. I'm like, yeah, maybe at 21, yeah, but at 29 going to 30, nah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. What if she has bad breath?
Like, how bad?
You talking about halitosis is like a problem, or I just give her a mint and she cool?
Right. Like,
I don't know. Which one matters?
No, halitosis matters. Like the other one don't. If I just cut, everybody got bad breath sometimes, you go, baby. But if you just got a chronic bad breath problem,
if you refuse to go to the dentist and get this problem fixed, then yeah, we might have a huge problem. Like the thing is, I ain't gonna lie, if you're breathing like shit up day one, then we ain't talking up day one. I don't care what you gotta say.
Here's the real question. Is it Rihanna?
No, I mean, you tell me, is it?
Would it matter if it were Rihanna?
Right. If she's really fine and famous and gorgeous and rich and all that, would you forget about the breath?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't, because I'd be like, how you be all rich with bad breath?
What's wrong? What's wrong?
Like,
you got that much money.
Like, you want bad breath. You like bad breath. You are into bad breath. That's your shit. Not mine, man. Your funky breath ass out of here.
Get your fucking rich body.
Oh, okay. Colgate? Fuck out of here.
What if she has kids?
All depends on how many kids.
What's your number?
2.
Okay, what about you, Martin?
No, I'm sorry. It depends on my finances too.
Joking.
Like, if I can afford 3, shit, bring on 3. If I can afford 2.
That's the absolute real. That is very true. Because at first I thought 2, because more than 2, I feel like wow. But if I'm balling,
if I'm Will Smith, bring on 8 kids, man. Bring them all, man.
It's the story. I'm a man named Brady.
Right, come on, kids.
Go, man.
Come on, I got a business for all y'all, man. Come on, man. Come on,
like a band.
Oh, we're gonna be a team out here, y'all. We're gonna make our own NBA team.
If I love her like that, because you know what I mean, like if I'm feeling her like that, if I feel like she's worth that type of thing, because
kids is never the problem.
Yeah, it's the person.
Yeah, it's the person. And the thing is, you don't want to get involved too much with the kid because you don't know if you get involved with the person. And you don't ever want to hurt the kid more than the person. Because anything is, like, whether you don't want to hurt the person or not, the person's the person. The kid has nothing to do with that. So you never want to hurt the kid.
Or the band.
The band, right. Or the squad, the team. You know what I'm saying?
So what if she smokes?
All depends what she smokes.
You
smoke crystal meth.
So we know you guys smoke herb, but what if she smokes like cigarettes?
I would encourage her to stop, but I smoke cigarettes from time to time, so I can't judge. But I would encourage her to stop because I know I want to quit. I'm quitting. So like I wouldn't be a fan of it, but at the same time, I'd just be like, nah, I don't know. I couldn't fuck with it.
That's not a deal breaker for me. I'll date you if you smoke, but I'll try to get you off because I don't smoke cigarettes. It's not my thing. But I have a vice, so since I know I have vices, I'm not gonna like come down hard
with the hammer,
about your vices. So, but I don't like cigarette smoke. So
I like the way it smells, and I like it. That's why. So if I see you with it, I'm like,
I would just hope that maybe
not
someday, but it wouldn't be.
One of us got to be better.
It wouldn't be a deal.
Okay, so what if she's bisexual?
Never a deal breaker for me. That's not a deal breaker. My problem is that, what if I'm bisexual? What's the deal breaker for her? That's the question. The question is if she's bisexual.
Does she love me for me? If I want to experiment.
Bisexual. What's she up?
Okay. Man. What if she doesn't believe in monogamy?
That's not a deal breaker for me either.
Not a big of a deal.
I'm surprised you said that, Joe, because you seem like the relationship type. And then you probably would get really possessive if you found out like she was getting broke off by other people.
Nah, because I'm going to get broke off by other people. You
know okay, so y'all would just have an open relationship.
It'll be equality.
But that's the thing with me. To be both. Like, you can't just, like, if you're expecting, because that's the thing. You can't not feel like men and women can't do that to each other. If you're expecting monogamy and you're not being monogamous, that's fucked up. Now, if y'all have that understanding with each other that, okay, you're my man, whatever, and you do you and I do me, I could do that. We can talk about that, but it got to be equal.
Right, but I mean, I'm not built for you to go do your thing, and I only, be with you. Nah, I'm not built like that. But I am built to be like, listen, you do your thing, I do my thing, and we ain't got to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? As long as we got the rules that we established for what we do, as long as that we stick true to that, we ain't got to, go into too much details. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough. Okay, what if she has opposing political views?
Like what? She's a racist? Candace Owens?
If it's Candace Owens.
Can't date Candace Owens.
Can't date no Candace Owens, baby. No Stacey Dash.
No Diamond and Silk.
Nah, none of that.
Sorry, babe. I just can't get down with coonery. It's not
right. Not the buffoonery of the coonery. No.
What if she's a different race? You kind of answered this one already, though, Joseph.
Yeah, like every race I'm cool with, but the white race, I feel like they just don't need my sources. They can go without me.
I would date any race, but it's just inherently in me to want to marry a black woman.
Okay.
So that's just why I stand with that. It's like, I'm not saying the door's closed. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I know if we're going to talk about a preference, my preference is I want to marry a black woman. They're just certain, we have the same struggle. There's certain just little in jokes. There's just certain things that's just established between black men and black women that I just want in my marriage, my relationship, we're going for life.
I think part of that with white women, I feel that way about too, is that they're the most distant because they're not the minority in some kind of sense. So I feel like the most distant of like our conversations. You know what I mean? Like that's why I feel like it's so hard. Like we had to like be on a whole nother level because like the things on the in and out audacious that I go through on every level from the micro to the macro, it's hard to talk about with because you are like so far, you kind of far removed from it because the system has put you so a part of it. whether any other minority I fuck with, we're gonna have some level of like, we could talk about it on some shit. We could talk like, we could laugh at the cops, or we could laugh at like just richness of whiteness, you know what I'm saying? Just laugh at it.
Okay. What if she's unemployed?
Shit, she want to get a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, staying at home and taking.
You just said you ride unemployment till January, and I'm about to judge that woman.
I'm riding unemployment mean I got a job and I got laid off, so I'm getting money. You know, like she said, unemployed means she ain't got no job.
She got no plans.
Right, she got no plans.
That's her dream.
Right. She unemployed. So what you want to do, unemployed person?
Because that's
figure your life out that you need to be doing.
That's another deal breaker for me. I love an ambitious woman. So if you have no ambition, that's gonna turn me off the dump. Like I understand we all get bashed. Like my dude was saying, you can be out of work and that's a life situation that happened to you.
Right.
But if you still have it in you, you're still trying to grind, you're still trying to get it. If you have the ambitious spirit, you're not just wallowing or trying to stay there, then
as long as you got aspiration and ambition, I'm gonna ride with you. You could quit your job and be like, I'm gonna do another job, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna ride with you. As long as you believe in it for real and tag it with your full heart, I'm gonna haul behind it. But if you ain't behind it 100, like, you know what I'm saying, then I can't fuck with it. You know what I'm saying? You have to really believe in it, and I'm gonna believe in it. And like, you got aspiration and ambition, then you got 100% cheerleader right here. But if you just feeling like even if you're in your slumps and you show me you had these things before, because we all getting our low points, I'll still ride you with you. But you gotta, you can't stay in the slump forever. You can't stay in the shit and stop smelling it.
Okay, so that leads me to my next one. What if she has an addiction?
So what?
Does that matter to you?
Yeah, you're addicted to shit that's gonna be detrimental to your health and detrimental to who you are as a person. I can't fuck with. But if like you're addicted to like shopping, then you better make a lot of money. Like because I don't.
What if she doesn't?
Well, then I don't know what we're gonna do because like I ain't that much. Listen, you want the shoe or you want to eat? I'm broke, baby. I got it. You know what I'm saying? I love to work hard. The thing is, if you work with me and compromise, and I know you like shopping, when I can do it, I'll make sure you get it. You know what I'm saying? And when in moments that I can do spurts to show you that I can, I do that. But like, if that shit's like your thing, then baby, you fuck with the wrong guy from day one. You saw that I had no shit when you fuck with me. You should have got with that rich guy that was right behind me hollering at you. He could be 60 on Shadow Street.
What you
I think context matters. You know what I'm saying? Because like what he said, when you ask to what, that's the first thing that came to my mind. Because like some people have like addictive personality. I feel like I have an addictive personality. You know what I'm saying? I feel like most things I do all the way. And some certain things I stay away from. Like it's like I do weed stuff, but there's certain drugs I know if I started that, I'd probably be on it too hard. And I know that about myself. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on what the addiction is and what she's sacrificing for the addiction. And is she planning on kicking it or is she trying to at least fight it? You know what I mean? All of those things matter to me within it because like I try not to judge people and you kind of try to find people where they are. You know, some things are embarrassing. You know what I mean? You ain't gonna find out in the first couple of conversations at dates that a motherfucker got an addiction. You know what I mean? Like that's something that you might have gotten a connection with them at some point, then you found that out. So if I find out that you're a drinker, I might work with you longer than like what you said about crystal meth. Like, you know what I mean? Crystal meth. You know what I'm saying? Like there's levels and differences, and then it's like, what do you do? Are you about to sell your body for this, or are you just like you know what I mean? It's just different. I just have to be in a position and then I can scope out how I would react to it. Because I can just judge it.
I also say this, as like I'm realizing as I keep going in my life that the things that I know I'm not ready for. And like, not to say I won't love somebody who's addicted to these things, but I know I'm not ready to deal with what I know will come with that kind of responsibility.
And that matters too. That really matters where you are in your life mentally for your mental health. Because like, you know what I mean? Sometimes you might take on a person that you're dating.
You think you built for that shit you ain't built for.
And they have an issue. They have an issue that you did, like you said, that you thought that you could handle it.
And you want to be built for it.
You know?
You hope to be built for it. And your part of you thinks you're so strong in your mind that you are built for it until that task come upon you and you realize you're not.
So you have, context.
Okay. So here's a light one. What if she has ugly feet?
Oh, baby. Feet is a thing for me. I'm like Eddie Murphy on Boomerang. Like, I ain't saying I'm a toe sucker or nothing. I'm just saying, you got ugly feet. That just it speaks volumes to me. I don't know. It speaks a lot about, like, are you a dancer? If you're not a dancer, it speaks a lot more volumes. Like, damn, you just don't give a fuck about your feet, huh? Like, I don't know. Like, describe ugly feet. Like, what is ugly? Like she got bunions and shit. She got corns, like bad toenails. My mama got some ugly ass feet. I be looking at her like, damn, ma, why did you do that to you? Like, she had pretty feet at one point in time, but she just be like, start working all hard on them, doing hard work and shit. My feet look nice. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to sound like a diva.
It's not a deal. It's not a deal breaker necessarily for me, but I got questions.
I got a lot of questions in your opinion. Girl.
I got questions.
What do you do for a living?
I have questions that may lead to a deal breaker. But I'm not going to judge you off the dump because who knows?
True. I ain't going to judge you. Like you might have something going on with your feet that might be for real. Like, I ain't going to play on that. But if it's just off a basic lack of care,
This is funny for a woman.
Go ahead.
I would say it's funny for women. Y'all really take care of your feet, like manicures, pedicures, eyebrows, all that shit. The things that like I don't always think about, but then my girl be like, you know this, and I'm like, well, shit, yeah, I did. You know what I'm saying? It's like so. It's like she has bad feet. Like so, I got questions. I'm like, well, I'm not used to this. Okay, you're just like a hippie. Like what's poppin'?
I think we just get raised like that. But also, I think we appreciate when y'all take care of your feet, too. Just saying. We don't want to look at it.
Because y'all be rubbing our feet, and then sometimes when they don't stop, when they stop rubbing your feet, you be like, hold on.
I'm not going to, I don't know why you even that hype, son. Women have said that. Like, y'all, we're in a generation where y'all speak. And there's two things that y'all speak vocally about now that y'all didn't in the 90s. Men's feet and men's asses. So
wash your ass, take care of your feet.
Not necessarily wash your ass. They check
how beautiful man ass is.
Yes,
I love my husband's ass.
Women ain't bite no tongues, right?
It's so objective.
How you see how we felt?
I'm with it, girl. Look at my boy.
I'm from the old school gentleman. I'm the person that's gonna look when you turn away, and I'm gonna look when you look again, so let you know I ain't looking. All right.
Okay, so what if she doesn't like oral sex?
Don't break up.
That was quick.
That was quick.
You know, sick of
What if she can't cook?
That's cool.
That's not a deal breaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
This was by far the longest rapid fire session. There were more conditional statements then this happens.
In fact, the only yes or no we got was for oral sex.
Right.
Everything else was a maybe.
So I know that like within this quarantine time, as a married woman, being that I'm in a house with another person, I think the biggest thing that I've been working on is finding time to spend by myself, time where I can just decompress and evaluate what's going on, evaluate my feelings without having somebody else there. But if I'm single and I'm quarantined right now and I have all of that time to evaluate myself or whatever's going on, what am I working on to prepare myself for my future partner? Like what am I sifting through right now?
So one thing I'm sifting through is for my partner is that learning just about a lot about myself and breaking down my own insecurities of like since right now we're dealing with a distance thing because she's like she comes back and forth, but right now she's in another state. And so it's just dealing with the insecurities of my own of where my mind goes on certain things when we get into arguments and I can't be there or she can't be there to like have that physical comfort of like knowing that we good. Like, and I think the biggest thing that I'm like developing in my mind, you always hear about the man cave, but I always have this thing that like I want to develop a man cave and a woman cave because I feel like just as much as I need my own space, you need your own space to have that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I really believe in it. And the first time I ever saw that, it was on the Cosby Show when Cliff, because I ain't gonna call his real name, but when Cliff gave her that room. Remember he gave her that room, and Claire just sat in that room, and no one could come in the room. No one. And she sat in that room that had shit in it. I think it had one plant and nothing else. And And she sat in her room, and it was just her room, And like, I was a person who never had that at all. So just I know what that experience is like, and so for like, I want to look forward for that as I get towards marriage of giving my partner that kind of space to be like, hey, though we're a group and a unit, I still see you as your own person. You know what I mean? We may come together on the same thing, on the same subject, but you still have your own mind, your own things, your own shit going on with you, and you need to have your own you time. Just like I need my time when I'm playing when I'm watching the game. Stay the fuck away from me when I'm watching the game. All right? The child pamper better be on fire. You know what I'm saying? That's it. You know what I'm saying? And even in the
Can I tell you, as a kid watching that, I didn't get it. Oh, but I get it now.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it now.
That's the scene.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but I got it then. I got it then. Because that's how it stuck with me. I was like, wow. Because I saw her, I was like, look at Claire. She has a moment of clarity. You know what I'm saying? Like she
my
just,
brother.
Just sitting there and all the kids want to come in. I want to come in there. Nah, get your ass back. No one comes in here.
Bree doing it right now.
Right.
And you saw they was fucking on my judge. You saw.
That's one thing I'm working on myself is like just dealing with my own things and just growing better as a person as myself and having more patience because the more patience I develop for myself about anything in my life, the more I can look past certain things that I feel are petty or against my pride and ego and realize what the bigger issue is.
I don't know what the question is. What was the question?
DJ.
So what should your future spouse or anybody who's looking for a partner be working on right now if they're single in quarantine? They've got all this time to themselves. They don't have other people bothering them. Your relationship status is kind of up in the air. What are you working on while you've got all this time?
I think for myself and others in general is just knowing what you want, why you want it. And and this is not even for a relationship, you should always be set in who you are. Because I notice like a lot of people be in relationships and when the Bible talk about equally yoked, you know what I mean? I feel like that's a concept that's not even just biblical. You know what I mean? I feel like both people have to have a sense of self defined that they are like very comfortable in when they come together or whatnot. So like while some of us are separated in this quarantine that, like you said, have all this self time, I think you should just be dealing with self on what self wants. You know what I mean? What self needs, who self is. And is it because you want it or because there are expectations or obligations or past loyalties or what have you? You know what I mean? What do you want now? Who are you now? Etc. So I think those are good things to think about and delve into.
Yeah, you definitely be good for your partner because you'll figure out some answers about yourself. For real. But my grandpa always said, you can't be good for nobody else if you ain't good for yourself.
Ladies, anything you guys are working on or you think single people should be working on? I know we feel like we're working on different things, but I think at times we're working on the same thing single people are working on. We just don't realize it.
But you're still single, like technically, technically might be the wrong word, but you're still a person by yourself. You're still a human in your own right. Just because you have a union don't mean that you can't, you're just not working on your individual work to be the best self you can be for your partner.
For me, the only thing really with quarantine is I don't have any time to myself. Running joke, you see how my kids are, but I need time to myself. And so my husband, he's been trying the best he can to give me that time, but it's just not enough. I'm not saying he's not doing enough. I'm just saying like I just don't have enough yet. Whereas before this, when I could like send them to go do something or whatever, and I could take a long bath, and I'm not able to do that like self-care, that stuff. That's really what's the hardest part about this, and the thing that I guess I'm trying to work on, but the end won't come until we can get some semblance of normalcy. So
yeah, mine's kind of the same thing too. Just trying to work on that self-care aspect, trying to be healthier in general, like with eating, with drinking more water, getting out there, trying to be active, trying to at least take walks, because we're cooped in the house all day. You want to be at least a little bit active. So that's something that I'm trying to make sure I'm continuing to do.
First of all, Elle, you live in a goddamn mansion, so you would just walk around your house, okay? Don't let her fool y'all. Her house is huge.
I was looking at that background, like, what does that look nice?
And that is one room, honey. The house is huge.
I was like, what is that? You must be in your second office.
Aren't you in the solarium? You're in the sunroom, right?
Solarium?
No.
What are you in?
All your business on blast, girl.
What are you in, Elle?
It's a sunroom.
Oh, excuse me, it's a sunroom, not a solarium.
Sunroom / office.
What else?
Okay. Them curtains look like they come with somebody who pull them open for you.
They have a remote. What about you, CJ?
Oh, the beautiful city of New Orleans.
So yeah, mine is just, working on a long time. And so I have also found myself reevaluating long-term plans. I think when you get in a position where your work environment changes, it makes you reevaluate what you want long-term in terms of work and career. So I've been doing a lot of reflection in that regard as well.
Like, do you want to pivot or stay where you are?
Right, pivot, stay where I am, consider different company with different work perks and things like that. And then, of course, that decision is not as easy as it seems because it's like, well, how does that impact the family if I make that change?
Right.
So something I've been thinking about. Yeah.
We're really blessed. Because if this is the worst shit we got to worry about in quarantine, we doing all right.
I agree.
That's right. That's real.
I would say that.
I agree.
That's
all right. So winding things down, we are going to our listener question. This question is from Brian. I'm sorry, it's not from Brian. It's from Brittany. Sorry, Brittany.
Sorry, Brittany. Thanks for listening, though.
Brittany said, my husband sometimes gropes me or even tries to have sex with me while I am asleep. I have told him that I don't like it and it makes me feel uncomfortable, but he continues to do it. What should I do?
Let's kick that motherfucker in the dick. Like, I don't know. Like what the fuck is he doing? Like, bro, you don't want to do it? Don't fucking do it. Like, dude, what kind of fucking shit? This your husband, dude. What the fuck? I'm not in it right now. You feel any kind of wetness right here, bro? Like, get the fuck back. Like, I don't get it. That's some stupid sick shit. Oh, man. When I switch you on my real device, divorce that motherfucker. Because you should have picked out these signs a long time ago for the marriage. Like, this motherfucker don't understand the words no. This motherfucker is a triple. Like, I don't know. That's me. Don't take my advice. I'm just a messenger.
Tell us how you really feel, Joe.
Because that shit threw me off. He's like doing what while you're asleep and you don't like it and you said it multiple times? Chill out. Man, what? Ball check.
Like, I get, like, the first time maybe why he would have tried, because I know in his mind, he's probably done it in the past. Some people like it. I personally don't mind. When my husband starts the engines going while I'm asleep, I'll wake up in the middle and then we get it popping. But that's me. If she doesn't like it, literally what he's doing is sexually assaulting her. That's literally what you're doing. And I think people think when you're married that you're just entitled to your partner's body. And that's not the case. Like, the contract of marriage did not come with an addendum saying, oh, and you own their body so you can do with it what you want. Like, she's still her own person. That's still her body. And I would have a real problem with the fact that you told him not to do it and that it makes you uncomfortable. Not just, boy, stop, don't do that. But, like, it makes me uncomfortable. And he's continuing to do it. That sends up so many red flags about how he may not feel as though your feelings are valid. He may not listen to the things that you're saying bother you. It may escalate. Now it's booty grabbing and titty grabbing. And then you're going to wake up with a penis inside of you one day. That's like, I mean, he's sexually assaulting her.
That escalated quickly.
But that's how it could happen. You don't know that. If he's not listening when you say, don't grab my tits when I'm asleep, and he's continuing to do it, what's going to stop him from doing more?
Well, I tell this to people all the time, especially because I have aunties and people that I've seen with domestic situations. If you don't nip that shit in the butt early, when you let that shit fester, that shit gets way worse until a point where either it's you gonna click out and kill them, or they're gonna click out and kill you, or whatever. It's gonna get bad. And the thing is, you got to see those signs early and nip that shit early. You know, like what they say, when they show you who they are,
believe them the first time.
Yeah, you know, that shit right there, I'm pretty sure, like, this is him. He probably just getting away with it now because of marriage, because some people do have a different mindset after marriage, especially like you say with ownership. Men do. I've seen some men have that kind of entitlement that they own you after marriage, and now they feel like their body is yours to do that with. If you feel like, you know, this is a person that you really want to stay with, y'all need to see some kind of counseling about that and have him take some kind of sexual, like, understanding of body language and what's cool and not cool. Because apparently this nigga doesn't have no kind of knowledge about this, you know, but you still fuck with him because you decide to marry him.
And then go back to what we said about before you even get married, dog, that notion of ownership. That's apparent even before marriage. People feeling like they own each other, and we oftentimes try to love to own, and that's not right. Everything I said was completely true. I just wanted to piggyback off of actual consequences need to happen, because for this person, Brittany, to have to feel the need to write in to ask other people about this, she knows that something's wrong. She knows it's wrong. If you have to, you know what I mean? If you have to reach out to people to get any advice or to see if you know it's wrong. You know, like, you know the problem. You know that if you tell your husband, your best friend, no. And they keep pushing the boundary and breaking breaking that boundary. Next level needs to happen. You can't sleep in the same bed. Maybe it could start there. But, you know what I mean? You got to come up with a list of consequences to get into his head. Or like Joe said, counseling, you got to fight that or leave. And I know leave sounds easy. It's really easy to say, but from even dating women that have been in abusive relationships and listening to their horror stories and being that shoulder cry on, bro, you rather get out of it, like y'all all are saying, early than it escalate to something that you didn't even realize it could.
Right. I wholeheartedly agree with everything the guys just said. And because I'm a marriage proponent, I personally would try, like you said, we would have consequences. So separate beds, we would be in counseling. If it continued past that, I would have to leave, because you don't respect me and my body and the things that I'm telling you. And to me, that can only bleed over into so many other aspects that will make our marriage toxic. So I might as well cut my losses now. And I hate to say that, you know, we don't like to encourage divorce, but there are situations, and this to me is one of those situations. I mean, we're literally talking about him. It's sexual assault. Like, there's no two ways about it. I did not consent. I told you I don't want to do this. You're still doing it to me. That's sexual assault. Your husband can and apparently is sexually assaulting you. So you need to remove yourself from that situation the best way you can. That would be my advice.
Right. So I think the biggest thing here for Brittany is just that there has to be some sort of consequence or action beyond you saying you're not comfortable. So whether it be counseling that was mentioned, removing yourself from the bedroom, removing yourself from the relationship, hopefully is the last resort. But either way, there has to be some sort of consequence so that your husband understands it's not okay and you're not going to continue to allow him to violate you like that.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I can say this because I'm a sexual assault survivor. If this escalates before you guys are able to, you know, get to counseling or you're able to remove yourself, you can call the police on your husband. You've told him, you warned him, you've given him plenty of chances to stop. To me, you've done your due diligence. If he's not going to listen to you, and I hate to like put people in handcuffs, but like, I mean, what else is it going to take?
But at the same time, right, you said you've done your due diligence. You've done all you can do.
You could even tell him, I will call the police. You can give that verbal warning before you even do it. Right. You know what I mean? Verbal warnings are part of it. Like, it can be a process, but it has to lead to something.
Yeah. So I hope that helps you, Brittany. I'm sorry you're going through this. Did he do this when y'all were dating? Because I wouldn't have married him if he hadn't stopped that shit when we was dating.
That's just one time, because I ain't said this whole show, so I'm using this my one time to say it. Man, fuck that nigga.
Yeah, you have said it.
I ain't said it.
No, you
have said it, Joe.
I did.
Yeah, we just didn't say that. You have said it. I'm sorry.
Chauncey, cut that out.
I was like, when I heard, like, I thought I'm making a big thing.
But okay, so I'll just do my little quote real quick. Joseph, I don't know if you have heard our podcast before, so like I do like a quote. It's from a song. You can try to guess the song, but it's supposed to make you want to like go listen to the song later throughout your week and carry you to the next episode. So today's quote, you got to put your 1980s pop hats on. You ready?
Okay.
All right. I got my cat moves that so upset them. Zippers and buttons, fun to frustrate them. They get so angry, like pouty children, denied their candy. I laugh right at them. Anybody? No?
We are all at a loss.
Come on, y'all. I know what boys like. I know what guys want. You know it now?
Yeah, I know. I don't know the name. I know that song.
I know it.
Yes. It's by the Waitresses.
Slick.
Yeah, I was getting it, but I was like, I just need to say it again. All right, cool. Okay.
If I would have like said it, you know, in the right like tempo, you probably would have gotten it easier. But I don't want you to get it. I want you to be tripped up and then go listen to it.
Now it's in my head. Mission
I'm bumping it right now. I ain't gonna lie. I'll put that.
All right, guys, tell the listeners where they can find you.
Okay, you get us up at the FlyWitBats Podcast. Man, it's available on all podcast platforms. Hit me up at Mr. Bats. Spelling Mr. Out. You're going to find another cat. It's Martin Bats Bradford. And yeah, that's it. That's it. Oh, yeah, follow the Fly with Bats show on Instagram.
GumboMonster.com. Also, this is your boy, Alpha Joe. Fresh out of the gumbo, still deep in the ruin. If you're out in the streets and you're looking for me, you can find me on Instagram at AlphaJoe504, Facebook, Joseph Alpha Man Pines. And for Mrs. and the Mike, we out this thing.
All right.
Oh, real quick, before we end it, I have to say something to Fly with Bats. I was listening to your last episode, and you tell Lawrence, okay, that I said that our podcast is very important. And if it weren't for people like us advocating Black love, he wouldn't even be here, okay? Thank you.
I can't wait.
Okay.
Stir that tea.
Mm-hmm.
We'll let them go to Your 30 podcast.
Yes.
All right, guys, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Mrs. and a Mike. And you can email us at mrsandamike@gmail.com. This is CJ.
It's Al.
And Bree. Bye.
It's funny to see him do that. CJ, it's L. And Bree got me here.
That's how we felt when we was on yours and heard like in the world of pure D, fuckery, like all of that.